Hey, welcome back to Already Overbooked. It's been a fun week. It's been a fun week. We had multiple lives this week. I had a great conversation with Logan and Chris. We went through and talked about The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. What was really fun about that conversation is we all had different perspectives about this book, which it's always a blast to go through and have differing opinions on a story and be able to discuss it with people and really dive in to what people liked and didn't like about a story. So it was a lot of fun going through and talking with Chris and Logan about the Devils. The other live that I had was I interviewed the great Joe Byrne. We spoke about his first book and his full series altogether, but mostly on his first book because that's the only one I went through and read so far. It was fantastic, but we had a great conversation. We talked all about Wistful Ascending. Joe's a fantastic person and very easy to talk with, and he writes such amazing stories. So, if for some reason you haven't jumped into Joe's works, go through and check out his Wistful Ascending. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. I'll have all the information in the description below. And then, if you're watching today on Friday, I'll be on Grifton's channel doing just a discussion. Just he's going to be going through an interview on me, so I kind of get to be on the opposite side of interviews for this one, which should be a lot of fun. And so yeah, stop by. I'll have the link to that in the description below. So stop by, say hey, have a good time, hang out with us for a little bit. Um, Also, I'm participating in two different BookTuber indie author fantasy football leagues. And so I went through and did both of those drafts this week, which was so much fun. I I think one only one of them we're doing a only one of them we're doing going to be doing lives for, where we went through and did the live of the draft. I wasn't able to jump on because I jumped on late to start drafting, so I had to do auto draft for a few. But I was able to jump in. I was in the chat a little bit for that first one. But we're going to be doing an ongoing conversation going forward, probably on a monthly basis. I think is what we discussed. We just jump in, talk about the season, how's it going, and then just talk sports and probably some book stuff in there as well because we all love books. So it's gonna be fun. I'm super excited for both, and I actually have a pretty good team for both of them. So we'll see once the season starts if my team can keep it up, and we might actually win some games. We'll see. We'll find out. It should be a blast. So jumping into what did I go through and read? I actually went through and read one book and two novellas. The two novellas first is The Scream in Blue by Jeremy Zoll. This is a prequel novella based in the Common series, which I really love. That series; it's a lot of fun. This book was short. It was fast paced, and it really gives a different glimpse into the world of the Commons universe, and I really liked it. I like that fun ride, a little bit of the behind the scenes of what was occurring prior to book one. And so yeah, if you want a little bit of a taste of what this world's going to be like and you understand Jeremy's writing style, go through and check out this book. It's fantastic. It was actually a lot of fun going through and reading. The next one was an audiobook. I got this from the publisher because this book's been out for a while. I just haven't had a opportunity to go through and read it, but they made it into an audiobook. So the publisher sent it over to me, so I went through and listened to it. This is The Cross by Steve Cavernall. I love this series. I've brought it up multiple times on the channel. It is about an ex-con artist who turned into a lawyer, and then his cases he goes through within the series. What I really love about this, not only that it's a courtroom thriller, which is different, but the author used to be a lawyer, so he understands the dynamics. So it feels real, even though it's a little bit ridiculous. It's a thriller, but it feels real from the dynamics of the courtroom, which is cool. But you don't have to read every single book to understand what's happening. You can grab any of his books. You get enough information about the background where it makes sense, and then you can go through and just jump into this fun case that you're going in. But if you there is an overarching storyline, you see some character developments, but each book on its own is a different case, and it can be just read as a standalone, which I really do love. But This one, The Cross, going back to The Cross, this was a quick case about shady cops based off of real incidents that happened that Steve wanted to go through and discuss. So it was fantastic. It was a fun novella about an ex-con artist lawyer who is after some shady cops and trying to get them thrown in jail, which is pretty cool. All right, jumping into the actual novel I went through and read. This was an arc from the author. This is Spectre by Krister Lendy. This book was so much fun. It reminded me of Wanted, that bullet curving movie with James McAvoy, I think that's his name, and a mixture of Star Wars and Halo put together. It was intense. It was very interesting. It was an all-around fun read. It's a military thriller, but there's more to it than just violence and shooting. There was an underlining tone of this that was very, very cool and interesting. I will be doing a full video discussion of this book coming out probably Monday. So look out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I I have a lot to say about this book. So it's probably going to be one of my longer review videos because it was really good, a lot of fun. So jumping into what I am currently reading, I'm currently going through Midnight Gothic by Scott Thomas. And I have read, so this is a collection of horror stories. There's 4 novellas within this book, and it's all based out of Blaytonsville. And it's all about the Midwest and horror stories based around this town. And I've read the first novella out of 4 so far, and it's brutal. It is intense. It is graphic. And I completely understand how some people have been comparing Scott Thomas's Blaytonville with Stephen King's Castle Rock. It just has that eerie atmosphere. It's very intense, and it was an all around. It's a fun book so far. So I'm probably going to finish the other stories probably this weekend, as I'm guessing, before Monday gets here. Just because I need to jump into next month's TBR list. So that's going to be fun because I have some big, thick books I need to get through. So this one, this is going to be my finish up weekend read. But Midnight Gothic, a lot of fun. Go through and check it out if you're into novella horror stories. So jumping into my book haul, I actually got 1 physical and 2 ebooks. So we'll jump into physical first. I got this from the author. This is A Last Light of Edgewood by Luke Boswell. This is a very, very cool book, and I really do appreciate you, Luke. Thank you so much for sending me this book. The cover is very, very cool looking. It looks kind of like a sketch artwork, and then the maps in here are really cool. I think these are very different, and it gives off a different kind of feel than what you normally would get in these types of stories. So yeah, it's a shorter book. It's like less than 300 pages. So I'm going to go through and add this to the list. I'm going to try to get this read and get this read by the end of this year at one point. So, but it's going to be on the list. I'll definitely jump into it. But let me tell you a little bit what it's about. For Eswyn and Oren, life in Edgewood had always been simple. The realm of the royal gardens had only known centuries of unbroken peace. But Eswyn is chosen to be the apprentice to a mysterious and reluctant keeper of the light, and shadows begin to appear. Things in Edgewood are not as they seem. In the darkness, there is a growing threat, an evil that threatens to tear Eswyn and Oren, and ultimately the whole town. And Eswyn is about to learn that being the keeper of the light could be a deadly profession. So, sounds cool. Sounds pretty interesting. It's given off a YA feel to me, but we'll see once I jump in. I could be completely wrong. Could be super gory and intense, but excited to jump in. Appreciate it, Luke. Thanks so much for sending me this, and I'll read this very soon. Jumping into the ebooks. The first one I received from the publisher is an art copy of Ken Liu's upcoming novel, which super excited, huge fan of Ken Liu. And this is All That We See or Seem. This series follows a former orphan hacker, Julia Z, as she is thrust into a high stakes adventure where she must use her AI whispering skills to unravel a virtual reality mystery, rescue a kidnapped dream artist, and confront the blurred lines between technology, selfhood, and the power of shared dreams. So, sounds intense, sounds very cool and different. So, I'm probably going to be checking this one out sooner than expected. And like I said, I'm a big Ken Liu fan, so I'm definitely got to go through and read this and review this one. The next one is also a gift from an author, and this is Breaking by J. Alex Guerrero. Apologize if I mispronounced your name. Welcome to the Josh Can't Pronounce People's Last Names. So this one looks amazing, by the way. Alex, top notch cover, my friend. But this one's about the life force of a world is dying. If Farva's life is bound to the Zaeth, a living force woven into every soul, but when a poison takes root and the Zaeth falters and the very foundation begins to crack, to save their world, three companions must journey beyond all they have known into the breaking of everything they believe. Some forces cannot be stopped, some worlds can only be broken. This sounds amazing. Alex was very nice to go through and send me a copy of this. It is also on the shorter side compared to some of these big epic fantasies. I still think it's about right at or right below 400 pages. I could be mistaken, but the cover looks amazing. It sounds very cool, and I'm going to go through and check it out very soon. And yeah, it should be awesome. All right, so let's talk about what's happening next week. On Monday, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing a review of Spectre. You're not going to want to go through and miss this one. This is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be something people are going to be talking about once it comes out. It's one of those amazing epic stories. On Thursday, I'm going to be interviewing the great Scott Thomas, author of the book that I'm currently reading, Midwestern Gothic. So Scott and I are going to go through and talk about this amazing story, talk about his world. Super excited to have an amazing conversation with Scott. It's going to be a blast. Then on Friday, we're going to be doing another weekly recap where we talk about everything that happens from now to then. Jumping into the Indie Author Spotlight for this week, I wanted to go through and spotlight L.N. Holmes, author of Space Collisions. And Ellen does have a new book out or coming out soon. That is The Floating Castle, which is a dark fantasy set in a world where demons control the supply of magic and dragons are both feared and sentient, and three women combine forces to oppose an evil prince and escape his floating castle. So sounds amazing, and Ellen is such a nice person. We have spoken a few times over social media, and I'm very excited to jump into her new book. Do yourself a favor and check out Ellen's works. All information will be listed below in the description. Now, jumping into BookTuber Spotlight. For this week, I wanted to go through and spotlight Matt from Books for the Back Porch. Matt is newer to BookTube, really new to this space, and I think he's been on about 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. And he's such a nice person, and he reads a lot of cool and different types of stories, different from what I read personally, which I love. He reads a lot more primarily crime fiction, Southern or Royal Noir types of stories, horror stories. So his recommendations are definitely very cool. Something I'm trying to lean a little bit more into with reading. So watching Matt's channel and getting amazing recommendations has only doubled my TBR list, so I appreciate that, Matt. But if you haven't checked out Matt's channel, go through and check it out. Give him a sub if you're interested in his work. He's fantastic, and I'll have all of his information also in the description below. So that's it. So let me know what you're reading, watching, or grabbing in your hauls this week. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. Till I see you in the next one, stay overbooked.